review on the Newmark MDX 500s. We have reviewed the Newmark M6 4-channel mixer, and we've also done a little review on my Behringer 2-channel microphone mixer. But there's one part of the setup yet that we've not actually looked at and reviewed, and that is my Sony psdj 9000s. And these are my two vinyl decks. Now, these vinyl decks are absolutely wicked. Now, I love vinyl. You know, we've been reviewing vinyl records recently, and I've got quite a ton of it. I got loads in storage from my old stepdad before he actually sadly passed away, took his own life. And literally not long before that happened, he gave me a load of rave records. Sadly, he didn't have his decks at the time. He'd got rid of them, but just had a load of the records left and thought they would go in good hands with me. And I've also bought some, obviously, along the way. But I never actually had vinyl decks. I just had like a normal record player. And they're all fine and dandy, but some of them record players don't actually go up to standards, and they don't actually sound that good. Especially if you get like a cheap like 30 quid one from like B&M or something like that. They're not as good as having an actual proper vinyl deck. So earlier on this year, I got a phone call from a friend who has actually had a pair going on the cheap, and he actually did me both of them for 40 quid, which was absolutely wicked. Like, that was probably one of the cheapest offers you would probably ever get for a pair of vinyl decks, unless it was on eBay and you were travelling like halfway down the country to pick them up, which would then probably make it still expensive within your fuel costs and stuff. But literally, as far as these vinyl decks go, they're absolutely wicked. But like, as far as a review goes, I can only say good things about this. But as far as comparing them to other vinyl decks, I don't really know, because vinyl decks is not something I've ever used all that much. I used to use my stepdad's like years ago. He had Technics, and to be fair, like, I was just playing records. I wasn't trying to mix them. And I didn't really know much about equipment then, so it was just a record player to me. I just knew to put the needle on, not to scratch the records, and just to play the record, basically. And I just used to have fun, like, making them go faster and slower as I was like a kid. But having these and like trying to learn to mix on them is absolutely really hard, but I still really love these vinyl record players. So unfortunately there is a different head shell on each tone arm, but they still like play good sound. The only thing I would say is this record player is a little bit quieter than this record player. Like, when I've got the vinyl on, I've got to have this gain like here for the record to sound like half decent, whereas this channel for this record player, I can just literally keep it here and the record will actually sound decent level. And the only thing about this record player is this is very loose and wobbly, and like the whole tone arm just feels like really wobbly compared to this one. Like, this one will shake, but this one, like around this area here, is like, it moves a lot more. So when I'm actually like, when I've got it on the actual deck and I'm like about to drop it in and I'm scratching it, sometimes it will actually, like, the record will, like, say if it's there, it will like start moving across this way and it will fall off the record deck because it's too weak. So you'll actually find your beat, you'll be scratching it in, and then all of a sudden it'll skip back a couple of like grooves or something like that, and then you won't hear your beat again. So you'll have it all beated up, you'll be ready to drop it in, and then suddenly bang, and literally you've lost it, and then you've got to move the record around again to actually like find the beat again and stuff like that. And sometimes it can be quite hard when you're trying to mix, but with this one you get the beat, and you're going like that and you're ready to drop it in, and it'll do it all fine. But there's like something just loose here, and like I'm not really sure, if I'm honest, like how to like sort it, because that screw's as tight as it can be. So is that one. I tried like turning stuff like around here. I thought also as well maybe like, because this was missing, so I thought maybe this like, because it's like a, I thought it was maybe a bit like a weight or something, but I know like you put these like in the middle to put like a smaller record on and stuff like that. But to be honest with you, like I just don't completely know what to suggest with it. But if anyone does know a bit more about record players, please do help me out, because it would be very appreciated, and that way I will be able to like go a bit better. But it does just seem a little loose, if I'm honest with you. But all in all, they are a cracking piece of equipment to use actually. And you know, you can get tracks in beat on the vinyl, and when it does, it's a wicked feeling. I mean, I love these CDJs, don't get me wrong, but getting a tune in beat on vinyl just gives you so much more of a sort of like goosebumpy, energetic feeling. You feel like you've actually properly mixing a lot more, you know, because vinyl was the original way of mixing. So but yeah, like I say, the pitch controls on them, they're really nice to use, and when you're back in neutral you can hear that little click there. This obviously changes the speed, so like, you know, you can go from the 32 speed to the 45 speed. And this button here, let me just move the tone arm out the way. So this button here, if you actually turn that off, that means when you move the pitch it will actually like go faster and slower. But if you keep this on, when you move the pitch, the record's just going to stay at the same speed. And you know, when you're trying to get it in beat, and I've done that actually numerous of times, where I've like gone to sort of make the record faster or slower, realised that this was still on, and I've like absolutely wrecked a vinyl mix by forgetting to tap that. So a good tip, if you're about to do a vinyl mix, before you even start mixing, just tap that off and do the same on the other one. And then when you do go to move your pitch faster or slower, it will obviously move faster or slower. And as far as like, you know, the platter and stuff, you know, it all spins like it should, so I'm happy that way. I kind of like the little on off button here, and I've never really known what these like what these target lights are. I guess it's just to maybe help you see the grooves a little bit better, but I'm not like a big expert on vinyl. I'm still kind of learning it, so someone might like watch this video and think like he knows nothing about record players, and that's true. You know, I really only know the bare minimum about a record player, but it's something I've always wanted to get into, so that's why I'm still learning, so just bear with me. But I will do another video on these like in the future, when I've used them a bit more, when I know a bit more about vinyl, etc. But if I was to recommend to get them, like I couldn't really tell you like get these instead of something else, or get something else instead of these, because these are like the only ones I've ever really properly used, apart from my stepdad's Technics years ago. But like I say, I don't really remember too much about it back then. I just remember putting a record on and off the turntable, not the quality of the product and the sort of like, you know, how good the actual turntable is. But a lot of people say that Technics are the best. Some people have had the Reloop and stuff like that, say they're good as well. So anyway people, like, comment, share, and peace out if you did enjoy the video. And also if you want to see more about my music equipment and stuff, like I can even review this microphone and the speakers, etc. And obviously I'll be showing off some more vinyl. So peace out peeps.